Welcome to Last Time Online. This episode is brought to you by Dogmu Games, my very own game studio. I'm currently working on my first game called Wake Out of Twilight. Wake Out of Twilight is a 2D platformer game based in a futuristic dystopia where nearly all parts of life are automated. Life couldn't get any easier, but the price to pay was more than anybody agreed to. Navigate through traps, obstacles, and puzzles in order to save everybody from the nightmare. If you would like to be the first to know when I have updates or when the game is releasing, you can go to Steam and wishlist the game. Now, let's get on with the episode. What's up, gamers? Welcome to Last Time Online, the show where a bunch of nerds just talk about nerdy things. I don't even know if I'm a host, but I'll say it today. I am George, and I am the first person speaking so far. And today we are joined by Jonathan. Say hello, Jonathan.
Heyo.
Alvaro.
Hi.
And we have Max.
Celebrating Tyreek Hill is out of the AFC West.
There we go. And we have Justin.
Howdy.
And a new person that we've yet to see so far, but another part of the group is Anthony. Welcome, Anthony.
Yo.
Yeah. And so with these podcasts, we like to start by giving, which I think I've unofficially given the name Nerd Report, but we like to talk about the things that have been taking up our time, especially if it's anything nerdy or any games that we've been playing. So I usually start and say, I'm continuing to play Lost Ark, and I found a new game actually that I think you guys might be interested in. It's a little known game, and I've gone back to it, and it's called Battlefield 2042. I've returned to it.
Yeah?
It had a bumpy start. Not a lot of people knew about it, and not a lot of people knew about it. Apparently, there's been like a bunch of bug fixes or something like that. I don't know. The game was fun already, but I started playing it again. I got re-addicted to it, and yep, Max is already ready with the props. Yeah,
I have all the props.
Yeah, but honestly, like I've been spending a lot of hours playing it again. I actually didn't realize how broken it was. It was fun like originally, and I can go on and on about it, but. I mean, everyone here loves the game already, so no need to beat a dead horse. So let's move on. Like who who wants to go next? Let's start with you, Anthony. Anthony, you haven't given one of these yet, so yeah. What's your nerd report?
The main thing I've been playing lately is Legends of Arceus. I don't even know if I said the name right.
I've never heard of it.
That's Pokemon.
Pokemon game.
Right, yeah.
It's either the pronunciations Arceus or Arceus. Those are the two that you hear most common.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then once in a while I play this little known game that drives me insane. It's called Muck. It's on the computer. Basically a survival game. And it progressively gets harder until you get off an island. And
Muck?
then yeah.
Indie game
And then,
or what?
Yeah, it's an indie game on Steam. It's free. And then the other game I'm playing is a life sucker, life drainer. World of Warcraft. Got those double Legos, so I'm pretty excited.
Very nice, very nice. How about you, Max?
I have actually not really played anything this week. But I did watch the West Side Story remake today. Been trying to watch the stuff that's up for Oscars to be angry when stuff I don't like wins. If you like old school musical stuff, you'll probably like it. It's not really for me, but it's crafted like super well, and I would not be surprised if it won the Oscar for cinematography because it actually looks very nice. And then the other thing that I've caught up on, it's a podcast. It's called Inside Conan. It's two of Conan O'Brien's writers. They were doing the show while the show was going on to give like a behind the scenes look of the show, but now that he's not on TV right now, they're bringing back a bunch of like I'll call them legacy people that have been on his show for a long time. A recent episode they did was on the whole shit show with him and the Tonight Show, and then so they bring back the older character actors that were on the show, and it just pretty much created a little YouTube rabbit hole of old Conan clips that are wonderful. But that's all I got.
Yeah, something that I don't think we've let our listeners know quite yet is that actually a lot of us are either or with we're either movie buffs and or like had something to do with like a movie theater. I think that's how like most of us met. Like we all met in a movie theater, working there together. I think that contributed to me being like a movie buff too, and yeah. So like I mean, eventually we're gonna get into a bunch of detail about like one of these movies that come up, right? Like
there will be one that all of us watched at some point.
yeah,
Morbius,
with Willis.
duh.
We can discuss Uncharted in 3 years.
yeah. You know what? I know we totally skipped over that, but I think we will definitely come back to movies when maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one interested in it, but I'm super interested in Sonic. I like the first Sonic. I hope
I'm pumped.
I hope that's something that we can all watch so we can,
Be
go
there.
into detail. We can get into the
I was
weeds
hoping we could
about
talk about the Batman movie.
the Batman movie.
No, we still can't. 2 people haven't seen it.
3 hours is hard.
Yeah, I know. It is. I
will watch it as soon as it hits HBO Max because I think that's when I will be able to watch it.
Is it going to be shorter then?
But
No, it'll still be the same. Like,
That was-
it'll be the
We'll just
same.
have to be able to
I-
break it down into like a
I'll be
half-hour
able-
episodes.
I'll be able to sit in at home and hold the baby and pause it if I need to, which I can't do at the theater.
well,
And I was nodding, but
it-
since some of this might just be audio, I am excited for Sonic.
HBO did have a accidental leak for the date for HBO Max for Batman, but
oh,
they took it down since then. But it was April 23rd.
In
Are
a
we-
month.
are we going to get taken down now that we've re-leaked that information?
Hey,
I'm-
it's
I'm
on the
afraid.
internet. It's forever.
I'm scared. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Plus, no
Um,
one listens. They'll have to listen to this first to cancel us.
Anyway, yeah, that was
True.
that was a tangent. I just wanted to let everyone know. I'm like super interested, like to see which movie we're going to get into first. We could have done Uncharted. A lot of us watched it
No.
already, but yeah. But hopefully, maybe we'll do like a double mashup when with Uncharted and Sonic when they both come out, because they're both video game movies, and we can kind of just talk about that.
I'll try and. That one might be shorter. I might be able to do that one.
No, you're not. Quiet.
No,
Yeah, you're
yeah.
right.
Let's
I
not lie.
want to
dude.
know. I want to see Sonic. I want to see Sonic, and I want to see Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
Oh, don't get me started. Okay, anyway.
That'll be its own episode.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that just yeah, I got us off the rails a little bit, which is fine. Yeah, but anyway, let's get back to the our nerd report. What about you, Jonathan? Any news for the past week?
Shoot. So I wasn't here last week, but last 2 weeks
Oh, right,
I've been
right.
I've been spending time on triangle strategy.
Mhm.
I did manage to get like a really solid few hours in on this past Saturday. I think I got like 4 or 5 because I just handed my mom over the baby and I was just like playing all day. And then
If only you can like picture the Batman while you're playing Triangle Strategy or something.
Exactly. There you go.
one day. That game is really good. George, when it eventually goes to Xbox Game Pass in like a year from now, you should play it. I think you will enjoy it.
I do want to get a Switch, so hopefully sooner than that. Let's see though.
Yeah, I will. I want to talk about. I'm going to try and be quiet. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'm about 20, almost 23 hours.
Wow.
I put in.
On the demo?
I was gonna say on the demo.
Well, no, 7 of it was from the demo. 7.5 was from the demo. So I played about 14
Do you?
or 15.
Man, we're kind of getting off the rails again, but I'm interested.
That's the best kind of
Yeah,
show.
yeah. So here's the thing. Sometimes when I'm looking at a game that I really want to play, and they have like an open beta meaning they'll pretty much just let you play as long as you want. You know, in most cases, if it's like a game that has progression, your progression doesn't carry over. And I've had friends kind of be interested in the game the same as me, and I'll be playing the demo and they won't be, and vice versa in some cases. And the reason being would be because we don't want to burn ourselves out of the game before the game even releases.
Mhm.
I remember this happened first to me with Battlefield 3 because there was an open demo for that, and I played the shit out of the open demo, the open beta, and it didn't phase me at all. Like I still played a lot of the main game, but now I have been kind of not playing open betas because of that reason. I don't want to burn myself out before I get to the game. Do you think that affects you guys the same way? Do you guys consider that when you want to play open betas, like you don't want to burn yourself out, or you don't want to progress for no reason and have to do it again?
I mean, it depends on when the beta is, right? But if our playing the game helps make the game better, then it's worth participating in.
Mm-hmm.
Do you send them input when you play them?
Sometimes,
Oh,
when I remember to.
so not very often.
No. Well, I mean, I haven't been in a lot of betas lately, but I used to. In like the PS3 era, I was in a ton of betas.
Because in hindsight, if I would have, I remember when New World came out, I specifically didn't want to play the betas, even though I got like the closed beta keys, because I didn't want to get myself tired of the game. In hindsight, like maybe I should have just played those closed betas, and I would have realized that this game is dog water and not played the actual game.
Well, hey, we had some fun times in New World, man.
Yeah, we did, but at what cost? It cost me
Ooh.
a lot of
Hey,
time. It cost me
What
a
is
lot
New
of time.
World? What is this New World?
We trolled people by rolling around.
Yeah, I
Think
remember.
it's,
Vanilla.
Diablo-like.
I remember we had like a Congo line of us doing the worm down like a city, and that was actually pretty fun. That was like one of the funnest times I've had in the game. But that's like, yeah, that's getting off the rails and off the new rails that we just made. So that's
More
yeah.
rails to go off of.
what are
rail.
rails?
This is like yeah, this is like Inception. That's what's happening right now. We're getting layers deep into our
Yours is
tangents here.
cocky today.
Maybe, yeah.
So
But going
Triangle
back, like,
strategy is really
yeah.
good.
Yeah, but
Triangle strategy is really good. I will say, when I seen some of the reviews, people are like, "There's too much story and not enough gameplay." So that is a thing. The story is very good, but the way the game is split up is there's the story, there's the actual combat, and there's the exploration, and they're kind of divided up into like different segments. But the characters are really well developed, and you kind of have this thing where there's the main story on the map, and then every time you get to a chapter that's the main event, you can kind of zoom out, and there's little green dots all over the map. And so pretty much while the stuff that's happening at the red dot, which is where you're at, you can check on characters on other parts of the continent and see what's happening at the same time that's involving the plot of the side characters. And then the characters that you actually can play, the more you play them, it unlocks like side stories for themselves, just like optional little things in the bottom right corner. You just hit the plus sign and pick a character, and it's like a little mini cutscene for that character's backstory.
is there like progression saving when you actually buy the game for Triangle Strategy?
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
So there was 2 demos for Triangle Strategy. The first one was a beta, and it was chapter 5 of the actual game. Because I'm at chapter 7, so it's just past that. I'm about to make my 3rd major decision. What's gonna split me off into another ending, or another timeline. The second was it was a demo. It wasn't. It was the first 3 chapters.
Yeah. Are you are you spoiling Triangle Strategy for anyone right now? Just want to make sure.
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't said. I mean, like, there's still a lot of game, and I was kind of thinking about what you said the last time we talked about it, where it's like, because I put so much time into it. You asked, does it devalue the game? And I think it kind of added value, to be honest, because there's a lot of developers that are afraid to put out demos now. Like, they don't. I think if you have like a good demo, one that's like it's the actual game. It's the first three
Yeah.
chapters of the game. You can level up to level 5. You keep all your items and your progression. It just when you hit a certain part, it just pre-order or buy the game, on this day.
You mean like they used
Um,
to?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't really see demos like you used to. Like I think we talked about it at episode 1. Like I used to play ton, or maybe it was episode 0. Played tons of demos on my PS3 all the time. Like back when I had less money to buy games, and more time. I just play demo. But you don't really like it's like they feel like it's not necessary, and it's refreshing, and I think it shows like they're confident in their game and how good it is if they're putting a demo like that out. And they did the same thing with Octopath Traveler as well. They put out 2 demos, one with a chapter where you can put in feedback and say, okay, this needs tweaking, and then the second one was the beginning of the game that you could play. I think for Octopath Traveler, it was a timed demo. You could play like the first 10 hours of the game, and then it would just like cut you off,
It's a lot of time.
and then you can continue on to the whole game. Well, Octopath is pretty long though, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty big game, and I would consider like, I would be fine playing 10 hours as a full game. So like, if they're giving you like 10 hours of a game for free, to me that's like a lot.
Yeah.
Can I offer a question that will probably go off onto a side tangent for people?
Tangent
Or do you want me
inception
to wait
today.
until we go through the rest of the group?
Well, is it related to like what we're talking about right now? Because
Partially.
if it is, then yeah, go for it. This is gonna be a full episode with just like our nerd
Yeah,
report today.
it is.
apparently.
Yeah, it is. But it's more of a. I'm curious, like, what is the best demo that you guys have played, or at least the one that had like the best cliffhanger to it?
Dude.
And
For me, I'm gonna go way back, and I love the Spyro demo.
Really showing your age there, dude.
Is there a reason?
I don't know. Like you got hyped up. You're like, oh, I just unleashed this dragon. What next? Saved it, and then nothing.
Yeah, because when he was talking about demos, like it kind of brought me back to the God of War 3 demo on the PS3. It was pretty much like the first section of the game, and then it ends with you with the wings flying up, and then that huge, I forgot what the creature is, or it was like a statue or something. It was like this big Goliath creature. You fly up, and then you're about to fight it, and then the demo ended.
Oh, what a tease.
I will never forget that one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I can answer quickly because I don't think I have a real answer to this one, because I think now that I'm really trying to think of any demo that I've played that hasn't been just like multiplayer, because I kind of just demo multiplayer games, and like I try to see if like the game feels good or if it plays good, and because I don't know. Yeah, that's my only answer, because I guess I don't have like a game where I've played where there was like a huge cliffhanger or anything that made me want to play it for the single player game, so unfortunately that's my dull answer.
Yeah, I don't think I could think of anything either. Like, and nothing stand out. I mean, I have like memories of like playing like demos on the PS3, like Warrior fucking what's that word? The Warriors game.
Dynasty Warriors?
Dynasty Warriors. There's
Okay.
like so many different demos for Dynasty Warriors and some Gundam games, and I think the one that stands out to memory is not really one that at my house, but when I used to stand at the Walmart and play like PlayStation or N64 in the store, when stores still had like demo consoles that you can actually play besides GameStop. I remember playing Medieval on
Okay,
the
heard of
PS1, the original demo for it, and when they remade it, made me buy it for the PS4, and I ended up getting it later, the collector's edition that came with the soundtrack and the motion comic and all that. But That game was hard, even today.
So I guess, man, are we ready to move on now?
Well, just it. If you want, I can edit Jonathan in last. So
No,
it feels
no,
like
no.
I'm just building off of this.
I think-
No, because we haven't heard from 2 people still.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Like I said, this
Okay.
could
The only
this could be
other
a full
thing that
episode of
I've
Nerd
done this
Report.
week is-
Oh my
Just
god, you're
watch,
still going off on what you've done?
No. I was just gonna say the only other thing that I watched some anime. I started watching Odd Taxi, and which is interesting. And I've been watching The Ranking of Kings,
Oh, that's
which
a good one.
it's so good. It's really weird, but like it's kind of I'd say that the plot's kind of like Game of Thronesy. Like there's like really good twists and backstabbing and all that.
You say that like it's
fun
a good
stuff.
thing. I'm playing.
No, well, I mean,
no, the
like,
plot of Game
no,
of Thrones
but
is good.
it's
yeah.
good. It's good. It's a good anime. It took me a little bit of getting used to the animation style because it is kind of like a little weird, but it's got character.
Does it have a
Definitely
Garden
worth
of
watching.
Betrayal?
Everywhere. There's lots of
The
snakes.
everywhere's for betrayal?
everywhere with lots of snakes.
There's a lot of them. There's lots of snakes,
Snakes in the grass.
Yeah.
Right.
figuratively and metaphorically.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, all over the place.
But
Alright.
yeah, that was my week.
So moving on. Alvaro, and then Justin. I'm gonna say this right now. We may not get to you in this episode. I'm sorry to hear, but I just thought
Keep it brief.
What's a Justin?
I'm kidding, but yeah, like Alvaro, let's hear it.
I wasn't here this week because I was in Dallas. I went to the how's it called? Tiny Tina's Wonder Bash, the Tiny Tina's Wonderland's launch party. And from what I remember, it was good.
Oh boy.
Oh really? How come you couldn't remember? How come they're having a hard time remembering, Alvaro? I'm
I bet
interested.
I bet there's 2 words involved with that. They are open bar.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a
Waiting
guest
over
of
the team to play.
some of the people that work on the game, and so they got me all access or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I was able to see a launch party and all their activities from their perspective, and it's really interesting to see that.
Yeah,
Nice.
you got the VIP treatment. I wish we had more. Yeah, that game looks fun. I think I'm not the only one here that thinks that game looks fun. So hopefully we can all or at least most of us can get together and have something to say about that game eventually because it looks fun.
Yeah, I mean it does have crossplay, so if you do get it, we can all play together.
Hell.
Depending on, no matter what console you got. So
How many players is it for?
4.
Can it
Oh,
play
okay.
on my phone? Not playing.
That's
that's like a meme at
I
this
don't
point.
Yeah, I know.
Can
But I
Jonathan
have it-
play while he watches Batman?
Sure. I have it pre-ordered,
Phone.
so I'll be downloading that, playing it that weekend. I'll probably have something to talk about next week.
Sweet. Yeah, I'd love if I can get to that too, but I mean, again, like we've been saying it every week now that there's like a bunch of stuff coming out. Like I think
too much.
So many games.
Ghostwire Tokyo is coming out too, so that's also
Yeah.
could be
yeah.
competing for my time, but we'll see.
Mhm.
I think that one's a play later game for me, like everything else, I guess.
Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I have seen some mixed things about Ghostwire Tokyo, but it looks good though, so I really do want to play it still.
Yeah, I'll still check it out.
Yeah, and
Eventually.
And by check it out, I mean so platinum it in a day.
I haven't done that in a while.
The Tina's Wonderland. That's the one with it's like kind of like D&D but with guns themed,
Yeah.
kinda.
Yeah.
It's
But
Borderlands.
is it the same? Is it the same style as Borderland? Right, like the same gameplay.
it's
It's
the same.
just like,
It's the same studio.
Yeah.
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 well, no, I know it's Gearbox, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like, is it
Yeah.
the same type of game? Is it like
A
have
looter shooter.
strategy
Yeah.
elements? Okay.
It
Okay.
looks
I
like
mean, I don't know how involved it is into like, rolling for initiative or whatever the hell. So that's something I'll have to wait and see.
yeah.
They
I'm-
didn't have like the ability to play it over there.
No, they didn't. I didn't get to try it out yet, so I'll be going in blind, completely.
I mean, if you're going to a
Well, like,
launch
it's a
party.
party. It's a
You're-
party.
Yeah, no, come on.
Well, yeah. So one, it's a party, and then two, it's a launch party by the developers who have probably been like playing this game, making this game for like the last at least like year and a half, 2 years,
Years,
probably
yeah.
3 years,
Well,
right?
I mean,
Like they're probably
West
like,
Coast
I'm done with
does
this game.
it.
Let me have a day off, please. Let me party. Let me drink.
I just want to drink.
Yeah.
They invite press to those things, right? I mean, the game's for the guests, not the developers.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hypothetically.
Okay. Anyway, that's really cool. Yeah, like I said, I wish. I mean, I'm encouraging us to try to get together to play that game too, because that game, like, it looks sick. I've talked about art styles before. I do like the art style of Borderlands and this new Tiny Tina's Wonderland again. That's the name of the game, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
So yeah, I think they call it cell shaded art. Is that what they call that art style?
They don't call it that, but it looks that way.
That's what it's adopted. Yeah, that's the name it's adopted. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I personally like that. That's another one of the art styles I'm attracted to. But anyway, guys, we made it. Last person out of the
No.
nerd report is Justin. What do you got for us?
I will be quick.
Sure.
Last week, kind of threw a party because holidays and whatnot, and then played some wow, Smash Bros. Was drawing a blank on the game. Had to put some people in their place because they think they can beat me.
Ah.
And then I am the board game connoisseur of the group, so I had a couple new games that I've been playing, and I've also been just playing some WoW as well. So that's about
I
it.
think you're the disposable income
What
member
board
of the
games?
group.
What was that?
What board games?
I got the new Villainous game, which I kind of talked about on Friday when I actually saw you guys. But it's the new one with Pixar, and it's got Syndrome and Madame Mim, and it's got Lotso on it.
Lots of.
How was that? Because I want to play.
It was
I really
actually
wanna
pretty
play
fun. I played Syndrome while I was watching The Incredibles, and it was pretty funny.
I have
Why
a
you kept telling me that he's a good villain?
Yeah.
I have a
I
question.
mean,
was always a good
no,
villain.
I don't disagree, but it was just random that he's like, Syndrome's a good villain. I was like, I didn't ask.
He's your number
That
one
make-
fan.
That makes sense now. Toxic fandom.
Yeah. And it's funny because like some of the cards and how that game works is you're pretty much you play as the villain, right? And you have to try to like actually win, right? So like the whole objective for Syndrome is to like create the bot and actually win by like making the bot like what he says in the movie. He becomes the hero that they didn't need, right? Or that. So like I actually able to win that, but that's not surprise. But
I have a question.
Is that-
Wingspan.
I have a question.
what was that?
Justin, which game are you currently playing right now as we speak? Because I could hear you
We
cast.
could hear clickety clacks.
I feel like you're casting fireball over there.
No,
a lot of fireballs.
I always use push to talk, so it just seems like that. So,
Oh.
and my keyboard's just very loud in general, so I
Oh.
try it. That's why I always use push to talk because when I'm like,
Anthony's laughing. And we have video
Is-
of Anthony
is
right
your-
now.
is
so
your-
don't lie to us,
yeah.
Justin.
Is your push to talk like one of those like God of War mash to open the door kind of push to talk or?
no, it's not.
Okay.
My keyboard's just very loud, and when I type, sometimes it just gets very aggressive. So
Look, there he is.
Oh, leaked, exposed. You just doxed Justin. Exposed. We can't see the screen,
Sorry,
luckily.
it's like-
Can't time
All
out.
I see is white screen.
His game is a widescreen, all right? It's
Okay. Yeah, luckily.
wait.
I would say, Justin, don't forget about Wingspan.
Oh yeah, no. Wingspan was on that list. So we played Wingspan, and we played that over the weekend, and that was actually a fun game as well. Where you're supposed to collect a bunch of birds and get eggs and all this other fun stuff. But that's about it.
Okay, so yeah, so at this point in the podcast, we can start the podcast now. That was your intro for last time online.
That was
Long and
Bye.
30-minute
Hey,
intro.
sometimes the intro will be the best part.
Yeah.
We started a little late, so we really
Yeah.
only ate up 30 minutes.
Oh, that's
Uh,
it?
You know, and I'm making a public call out too. If there's anybody that can beat Justin in Super Smash Brothers, I will pay you 100 last time online coins to
say less.
to show yourself, reveal yourself, make yourself known, and then
Did he just slap you around? Because
yeah,
we
and
left
then,
when you started
beat
playing.
I
beat
can
Justin
beat
in
him.
Super
We're
Smash
pretty
Brothers.
Got
can
lucky
beat
on
him.
one of the kills.
Luck has nothing to do with my friend.
When you dive right off, yeah, and you have no way to save yourself.
Hmm. Well, that's your character choices, bro.
Hey, you leave Sora alone.
Sora, he has so much float. Like, how are you falling off the stage on accident?
There's no float once you do certain moves. You can't do anything else.
Best I does.
So I wanted to say too though, like I'm glad that our intro went like that because I want to just confess and say I've been dog water at doing the intros, and I think thanks to the tangents, I think we were able to pull off a solid one that time. So now we can get wait,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Not just you, man.
Okay.
So it's not just you. Sometimes we're just all.
Let's dive into it. Let's
before
dive
But
into
that
it.
is- That is what our five
Before-
listeners come back for.
Yeah.
This is
Before we get into like the meat and potatoes, I kind of watched the was it ID or ID at Xbox? Or I think it's supposed to be indie developers
yeah.
at Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Are you
because
eating?
I'm eating a banana chip.
I can hear it on my headphones.
I'm sorry. I tried. I wanted to give, Xbox the equal attention, but God, they've never really been good at the presser stuff. They had Twitch streamers hosting, and they just talk. And it's like 2 hours, and I'm like, man, it's. There was some interesting stuff. The one game that I actually, the reason why I went to go watch it, but the only one that I really liked was a game called Wrestle Quest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a Super Nintendo like graphic style, and it's turn-based RPG where you're a wrestler. You make your own wrestler, and the combat is doing wrestling moves, and you have to pin them to win.
Wait, so
And
wait
it
before you go on, because like I am a
Uh-huh.
I am a wrestler, or I wrestled before. Are you talking about like collegiate, folk style, freestyle type wrestling, or
WWE.
like
WWE.
the luchadors? Okay, I got it.
Yeah,
Okay, now
yeah.
okay, you can continue then.
Yeah,
I have the
so
context
it even
now.
has it has. You can make your own wrestler, give them the mask, or fancy costumes. And there's like when you're fighting, it's in the ring, and you're not just fighting. You're facing off some random shit, and there's like chairs and bottles, and you can pick up stuff and throw it. And the art looks really good, and it pays homage to like probably golden era WWE. Like they don't use the actual names of the wrestlers, but they have like monuments to like Macho Man Randy Savage and
okay. Because they couldn't afford the rights to those characters, I'm
Andre
sure.
the Giant. Like they designed the characters to look exactly like them, but they just changed the names. Check out the demo, or not the demo. Check out the demo. Check out the trailer. It's like a minute long. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what I was thinking, asking you if it was like collegiate wrestling. No one is interested in playing that video game, so I don't know why
I mean,
I asked that.
I mean, if they made like a UFC, I mean, right?
Yeah.
That has
Maybe.
wrestling in it, kind of.
Maybe.
There's a lot in it.
If they're making like a
Olympic wrestling.
and whoever these guys are, if they're making an indie game on like wrestling, I think they have a lot of competition because I think, like what's the game that recently came out, like the 2022? It's not like WrestleMania. Is it WrestleMania?
It's WWE.
It's just WWE, right?
23 or 22.
Yeah. Wrestling games in general, even though I've only played a few of them, but I think they all are actually pretty fun. Wrestling games are solidly like pretty fun games, like whenever they come out.
Yeah, I used to play them a lot on like
The
the
storyline's the best part of that.
the
storyline.
PS1 and
few years, it's been junk though, hasn't it?
You
Well,
come for
I saw this-
you come for the
I saw
action,
this
stay for
new-
the story.
Yeah, I saw this new. Yeah, I saw this new one got actually good reviews, and they said it's been an improvement over the past like 3 or 4 games.
That's good. Good to know.
It's not the same though. I mean, like, Wrestle Quest is at the core of it a turn-based RPG.
Oh right, you did say that, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a simulator. It's like funny characters, like colorful art, and a turn-based combat system.
Okay. So I'll just jump into I guess one of the topics that we're going to talk about today, which was the state of play, which basically is just Harry Potter. And I think a few of us watched it, and I don't know how much we're going to have to say about it, but I will say that I'm only a light Harry Potter fan, but I have taken, like the Pottermore quiz and stuff like that, so I guess I'm at least a little bit of a Harry Potter fan. And to me, it looked like a fun game that I was maybe interested in. If I find out that it's a game that's like super long, it might turn me off because it looked like there was a lot of content in there. It looked like it could follow the path of being like a very large open world game that they put a bunch of stuff in. Which I'll admit that probably definitely appeals to certain people. If I was more of a Harry Potter fan, I would probably be like all over it. It looks like a lot of stuff. It looks at least a little bit fun, but like I said, like if it turns out to be like huge, it might turn me off a little bit. But we'll see. I'll say in general, like it looked pretty interesting. I don't know if anyone else has anything to say about it. What did you guys think of Hogwarts Legacy? And are you guys Harry Potter fans too? Like, I guess let our listeners know that too. I actually don't know if you guys are Potterheads.
I mean, I like Harry Potter. I took the house quiz. I didn't get the house I wanted. I got
What house did you get? I'll reveal mine.
Gryffindor.
You got Gryffindor. Which one did you want?
I wanted to be
Slytherin.
Ravenclaw.
Oh,
You want to be Ravenclaw?
Yeah.
I'm a Slytherin. I got Slytherin. I'm
where
proud.
where
I'm
where
proud
can
of
I
it.
take this quiz?
It's-
Harry Potter website.
Pottermore.
No, it's called
Pottermore.
Pottermore. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
Basically,
do
Harry
it live
Potter
and see what I get.
I think it's widely accepted as like the official
I think
Harry
you can
Potter
only take it
house
once,
sorting
though.
quiz.
Yep. You can only
You
take it
can't.
once.
You can't. You
I
have
don't
to create
think
a new account if you want to do it.
I haven't
Okay.
taken it before.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, once you take it, there's no going back.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
so
Bullshit.
So the Sorting Hat has chosen that for me forever.
Yep.
exactly.
Oh God.
I got
Don't-
Hufflepuff, and I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with it?
I don't agree with that.
My favorite thing is when people try to say that I'm evil because I got picked for Slytherin. But then I hit them back with, actually, Harry Potter himself wasn't going to be a Slytherin until he asked the hat to change him. So I was like, your whole show, you're watching a Slytherin, basically.
He was on the line.
Yeah,
he was
well,
on the line.
I just love the,
could've-
well, actually.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. But Anthony, I don't know did you say already did you actually watch the Harry Potter State of
I watched.
The
I
State of
watched a
Play?
little bit of it. I told
Any
you before we
impressions?
started today that I felt like it felt like a Fable game.
Oh yeah.
Like the gameplay of it and stuff. I'm pretty excited to do like the classroom stuff and some fight scenes. Go use some deadly spells on people.
Yeah, you're gonna go down the path where you just immediately get the Avada Kedavra spell. Just,
Oh, instantly. And then
Not
I'm just
waste-
gonna be like,
yeah,
why
don't
you
waste
looking at
time
me
on
wrong?
anybody. Yeah,
boom.
damn.
Why are you looking at me wrong?
Is there a morality system in that game or no?
I wish
That'd be cool.
that would be awesome if there was.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. You know, I think that's why I like Fable. Since you brought up Fable already, I think that's why I like Fable so early, because like the morality system was actually really cool. But yeah, I won't get too
those
deep into
games
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
fingers
reason why-
crossed that there's like Fable news this E3. That there's going to be an E3 or Summer Games event or whatever it's going to be called.
Supposedly, there's supposed to be an all digital E3 this year.
Interesting.
All right, we'll see. Anyone else see the state of play? Justin, Jonathan, did you? I know Jonathan, you watched a tiny bit of it, but
I managed to watch the first 15 minutes, which is
that was like
where
all
they
of it,
cut
right?
off from. Yeah, well, I mean, there's like another 7 minutes where it's like the developers talking.
Okay.
But so I've pretty much seen all the gameplay stuff. It looks cool. I was a big fan of Harry Potter. I wouldn't say I was like some of the zealots that you see online and at the movie theaters when the movies were coming out. But I enjoyed all the books. I enjoyed about half the movies.
I
stopped
totally forgot that you dissed like some of the movies in one of our previous episodes.
You
I
did.
remember we had a little
Number
talk
4.
about this already.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the fifth and the sixth one are they're probably the fifth is definitely the weakest book, so it kind of translated into a movie. The fifth and the sixth movie should have been better, and I really don't like 4, mainly because it was my favorite book, and I feel like they really botched it.
Mhm.
But I could see why it's good for people that don't have that knowledge. So they cut out a lot of storylines from the movies that were in 4 that kind of go through from 4 to the end. So there's characters that never showed up in the movies because they just didn't introduce those storylines. But the game looks cool.
I think you all need to get over it.
I'm
Yeah.
over it.
Oh,
No, you're not. Obviously, you're not.
Well, I'm just giving you my opinion about the movies. Like, I'm not like, I don't really watch the new ones. I don't care for the prequel movies. They're kind of boring. to be
Oh, they're
honest.
they're not good.
No.
I won't watch them anymore after they got rid of Johnny Depp.
Oh
I'm
god.
a
Oh,
Johnny Depp supporter,
damn.
so they replaced him, and yeah.
I am Team Johnny Depp as well, but I stopped watching them before that, so we're not going to get into that.
No.
But yeah, so the game looks cool. Yeah. We ain't gonna talk about Hollywood scandals on this podcast.
No.
Let's talk about the Black Dahlia murder already.
I'm gonna
Unless it comes up with
edit out
Aquaman.
everything Anthony just said.
The game looks really cool. I'm surprised it's getting ported to the Switch. I guess we're gonna see like the optimization they're gonna have to do to get that thing running properly. But
yeah.
I'm curious on how big of a game it is. If it's gonna be a true open world or if it's gonna be like segmented. How deep the combat is. Because it kind of just gives you a gist of what you can do,
Yeah.
not really like the plot too much.
It's interesting for sure, because
I want to see more.
when it comes to like RPG games, which this game does look like it's for sure an RPG, because I mean you can like supposedly choose your combat style, and spec. It looks like you can spec skills into slots to make yourself have different combat styles. It's interesting because usually when you have a game like that, you typically have an option to like spec into melee too, and I don't believe that you're going to be able to like cut people down with your wand. It's all going to be kind of ranged, which also kind of like, in my opinion, it kind of turns into like a shooter with like auto aim. You know what I mean? So it's like basically a shooter with auto aim. So based on the combat that I saw, it looked like it was going to be heavily dependent on like timing and things like that. Because I did notice like one thing that kind of reminded me of something cool. Like I remember there was this one scene where you hear somebody off screen like yell, what's the combat spell they use? Was it like Incendio or something like that? Someone's like Incendio, like which is like casting like a fire spell at them, and the main character kind of just like knew to deflect, right? And at that point in the game, it looked like they didn't have like a HUD that was showing, which kind of reminded me of Hellblade, which was like a very minimal HUD game, and you kind of had like combat cues through audio, which was kind of like an interesting thing to me. I thought that was pretty cool. Like it might be very, like I said, heavily dependent on like timing and audio cues, so that part might be fun. But then again, like if there's no melee, there's like no melee distance stuff, and so movement might be like less of a factor too. So you might just be like standing in place and just like pressing buttons the whole time. What was that?
Movement's a factor in that game. If I was watching some gameplay, they have it to where you put on your cloak of invisibility and sneak up on people.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And then they have that where they like move really fast, like warp, and they turn like a little cloud. It looks like they have that to where you can move out of the way and dodge. So
and they did have a scene where like there was like this big beast that charged at you too, and I thought it was funny that they kept showing clips of your character falling down. Like they were showing a lot of clips of you getting wrecked by spells and stuff. I was like, are you meant to get hit in this game or something? And then they turned it up towards the end, like by people actually showing off how good the combat could be, I guess. Yeah, so that was my thoughts. The only other thing I could say about it is that it's kind of cool that they're making a game off of basically an IP that has everything like down to the details already. You know, because I actually have played a Harry Potter game before, and I think it was an open world game for the PS2. I can't remember what it was called, but the details in that game were pretty much like the details I saw like in this game too. Like I already like I saw a scene, I was like, oh, that's like outside the corridors, or I was like, oh, that's at their herbology department or something like that, and it looked very similar, right? So it's interesting because they have an IP that they had to keep consistent with like what people already know about the franchise, basically from the movies. So, and that's actually probably literally everything I have to say about the movie.
Stuff was cool too.
No, I thought the game looked fine. It's not really my kind of thing. Like it looks like a game that you're gonna sink like 300 hours into to do everything. And
it could be very dense.
Yeah, so that's not really my kind of thing. I like quick games. There's some longer games that I will play, but for the most part I just like quick, straight to the point stuff. But I think if you like immersive stuff and you really like that world, I think that's going to be a game for you.
Yeah. Before the game even comes out, like I kind of agree with that too. Just like if a Star Wars game came out and it was kind of like similar, where you can have that many options and that many references to like the movies or the shows, I'm all over it.
They had a game like that. They just need to remake it or make it better, a new one.
Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the
Kodar?
Okay. They are remaking that. Yeah.
Are they? I thought they were doing like a sequel or something to it.
No, it's like it's like a remake.
Say
it's
less.
A remake.
Yeah, say less. Right?
You'll never see me again once that game comes out.
Yeah, it probably won't come out for like 5 years.
You shut your mouth. It's going to come out soon.
Don't do that. Don't sit there and then build up my hopes and then crush it in an instant.
Legitimately, they have to wait a little bit because I think some of those games cannot release until after EA's exclusivity runs out, which I think is either this year or next year.
Interesting.
And wait, so regarding the Harry Potter thing, I mean, I've only read through the 5th book. The 5th book kind of broke me when I read it. Not emotionally, just that it was so long and filled with nonsense.
It only gets longer.
No, that's the longest one.
Is it?
At least that's what I was told. I was told that 6 and 7 are long too, but not as long, and they're more straight to the point than 5 was.
Yeah,
And I do not dislike the movies from the books I've seen because I do realize it is an adaptation, so you're not going to put every single thing into the movies.
Yeah, if they did that, each movie would be about 4 or 5 hours
Well,
long.
that's what the fans want. Jonathan wants to spend 75 hours watching a
You
Harry
won't even
Potter
sit
series.
3 hours for Batman.
They cut out some really cool stuff.
That's
And
a shame.
in the fourth book is also my favorite, like you. But all that they cut out that would have been important to me was the Quidditch World Cup stuff. But that's at the start of the movie. The rest is fine.
No, that's the best part. That was like the part that I wanted to see.
Hold up a minute. Wait. Hold up a minute.
You're getting me all worked up.
Are you telling me that you don't like a whole movie because, like, the issue that you had with the movie was like in the very beginning?
They cut out like
Yes.
they cut out like a lot
Yes.
of the first, like, I would say probably 120 pages. Like, they condensed it.
It was like
And didn't really show
like
it.
the first quarter of the book.
It's not that much of the book.
It is
He's being
because they
dramatic.
introduce a bunch of they introduce a bunch of characters from that part. Well, one of them specifically, who has like her storyline is removed, and it affects like Hermione, who has other stuff later in the book. So there's like there are plot stuff that was taken out because that whole beginning wasn't there, because there were characters that weren't there.
But are the movies consistent with each other for the story?
For the most part, yeah. I just wanted more Quidditch, and that was a big disappointment for the series as a whole for me, honestly. 'Cause I think you really only get like good Quidditch scenes in the first movie, and then that's it.
No, but like for me, like a adaptation is fine, and then this could veer off into the Uncharted rant. But for me, like, as long as they get the tone of the story and the important plot points fine, like you don't have to have extra everything in every movie. Like, you don't have to have everything from the book in the movie for it to be good. Like, they both could be good for their own reasons.
Yeah.
How much longer do you think the movie would have been if they included that Quidditch stuff that you said was missing?
If they would have included that Quidditch World Cup,
think
that
it
probably would
would've
have added at least 45 minutes to the movie. No, it'd be
No
45
way.
minutes.
For the whole thing? No, it was a lot of visual stuff.
And they would want to show that stuff. But
Yeah.
instead, they just,
It would've
in the
been.
movie, they kind of just skip it because in the grand scheme of things, it's not important to that story at all.
That makes a lot of
Lies.
sense to me then to cut it. And for a movie,
Exactly.
Nah, it would have been really cool to see.
Oh my god.
I feel like it was a missed opportunity.
I'll
Nope.
just leave it at that.
For me, like, based on like what I
It's
just
not the worst movie. I'm just salty about it. 6 is the
There,
worst
he
movie.
admitted it. I win.
you gotta you
No, like
you got his
like
position to change a little bit.
No, like each movie from the books that I've read, the first 5, like, I think that they've included only the important stuff that you need to know. Like, everything else is like DLC. So it would, like, if they would have filmed it all, like, most of it would have just been like deleted scenes that you could find on a disc, like extra features. See, he agrees. I win.
Yeah, I think it's not very often. It's not very often we have like debates with people and we actually change their stance a little bit, right? Like that's kind of a rare thing. This is a magical thing that
like
happens
the
in this
movie.
podcast
Oh, you
today.
podcast listeners, if you could have seen Jonathan's face, I might screenshot it and put it as the picture
It'll
for
be
this
on
episode.
YouTube. They can see my face.
Jonathan's eye roll emoji will be part of our Twitch channel.
Yep.
let's make
If
it
we
a
can
yeah.
animate my eyes rolling out of my head. That'll
Let's
be one.
make it an emoji.
I feel like I should quote Daniel Plainview and say, "I'm finished."
Not too much.
Anywho, you can, but I mean, yeah. So I mean, the game is not for me. But if you like that kind of stuff and you really like that world, I think you'll probably get like a shit ton of hours out of it.
Yeah, I would
But,
argue that
yeah.
it could probably turn into like a live service game. As dirty as that word sounds, as dirty as that phrase sounds, you know what I mean? Like it sounds like
So,
Put
like,
that evil. Don't put evil out there like that.
I actually agree with
No.
you because after watching the conference, right? Like
yeah,
they go and they show like you have your own little house, right? And you
Yeah.
grow all this stuff, and I'm like, man, when I saw that, I was like, this looks like a phone game. Like,
yeah, with the timers for like the
Yeah.
mandrakes.
oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
pay,
And then
pay,
they're gonna-
pay to instantly finish this work.
yeah, they're gonna be like, okay, for $30, you can get these coins, and you can instantly finish your potions, and you can instantly finish your casts or something. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of seems out for me.
It's gonna be at like XP boosters or time skippers. It's all like they'll sell for like $1, like they did with
Yeah, they're gonna give
Assassin's
you
Creed.
new clothes that you can go and buy at Hogsmeade or something like that.
Or they need to make it like our like Lost Ark, where you can pay to buy things, but everything in the game is still accessible.
Pay to
Yeah.
win.
No pay to win.
If it's single player, then it's just cosmetics. But
But why
I
did
think we should. It's gonna be a $70 game. Let's just leave it at that. I mean,
A normal price game. $70 is
Sony
normal
is
now.
Sony is supposed to have 10 live service games in the works, so I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being one of them.
This is not developed internally by Sony though.
Yeah, it's. I know the game looked like it was being played on a
That's true.
PlayStation. This is cross-platform though, right? Or do they at
Yeah,
least
yeah,
have?
it's on everything.
It's
I'm
on
not sure
everything.
why Sony got bragging rights for it, but I guess they just want to associate Harry Potter with PlayStation now.
I know in
They
some
they
cases.
announced it too first, right? Like at one of the E3s.
I think so.
I know
It
in
was
some
the-
cases they
I
have
think it was
like,
last year when they because they didn't do E3 last year, right? They just did their own thing like a month later.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I think that's when they first showed like the teaser for it.
I think Sony may have like a deal with who would it be, Avalanche or Portkey?
Warner
Warner Brothers.
Brothers Publishing.
Oh really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but maybe they just have a deal to do some of the like marketing stuff before the game releases together
Well,
instead of just.
who produces the movies? It's Warner Brothers.
That's
but,
Warner. It's Warner Brothers.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know if there's any closeness between Warner Brothers and Sony as in general, or if it's just like a backroom deal.
I don't know.
Mhm.
It's probably just like a deal for like the marketing area.
Yeah,
I wish
just brand association.
I wish I remembered some more of the speech from Matrix Resurrections where they were talking about Warner Brothers. They were being so meta in the beginning of that movie, but
Let's not talk about that movie.
okay.
Wow.
I'll-
Damn.
No, you know what? I
Tiger
agree
Harry
with you.
Potter.
I agree with you because I was like halfway
really-
stopping myself when I was
Yeah,
saying that. I was like,
I
oh,
really did not like that movie.
oh, I'm mad. So much pain.
Damn.
I actually
We could do a full episode on that if you wanted to.
slightly related. I opened up my YouTube today, and in those recommended sections for movies that you can rent or buy on YouTube,
Mhm.
I saw Matrix Resurrections, and I realized that they put Keanu Reeves in the position that he holds for like a lot of the movie, where he's just like
This. Yeah.
this, and I was like, damn, they're just spoiling stuff in the cover of the movie, like 'cause that's what he does like the whole movie, which is like an inside joke for anyone who's seen the movie, where he just
That's probably 3 of us. Maybe Anthony saw it.
yeah.
The new one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that it's even worth spoiling, but like
Did you like Jedi Neo?
he
I thought
just
it was okay.
I just-
It was yeah. It didn't live up to the hype.
he just was there hype though?
You fell off
I know
real quick.
I personally
so.
had hype for the movie.
No, I think it was more personal hype from each person, not like hype from the studio.
That's probably correct.
Yeah.
Because I thought the
Yeah.
movie was.
Yeah,
I was
it
hyped
was-
for the movie. No one told me to.
I
The
knew,
marketing didn't tell me to.
A couple people. There was a couple people I knew that were excited. I mean, outside of you guys, that were excited for the Matrix, and they kind of did that Matrix experience Sony did. That maybe built up a little hype.
Oh right.
Mm.
Unreal.
That was cool. I like that.
Yeah,
That was a cool
yeah,
little
that was
demo.
really awesome.
That was a very cool little demo that they did.
Speaking of demos,
They
Oh,
should
yeah.
have they should have just remade. What was the Matrix game?
Enter the
was it
Matrix.
PS2?
Enter the
yeah,
Matrix.
Enter the Matrix.
That was a
People
fun
wanted
game.
them to do-
That was a fun
people
game.
wanted them to do a remaster of that one.
That's true. That's the game that could come back, huh? For sure.
And they actually had like film sequences that like bridged the movies in that game too. It was very cool. Very good. It was fun.
I was trying to think. The purpose of that Matrix game, they were trying to use that as like a demo for like what could be possible in a Matrix game individually or just like any game. Because to me it looked
I
like
think it was for using Unreal for movies.
did it?
Well, yeah, I think it was just them trying to show like how photorealistic they can make a lot of stuff. So I don't think it was like specifically just the Matrix. Even though
Okay.
that when I played that, it did make me want them to make a Matrix game.
It's,
Yeah, that I can understand. Did it look that?
Unreal 5 tech demo, pretty much.
Because they do a thing where like they have Keanu Reeves talking, and then they transition to like the digital version,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, you could tell the difference a little bit, but they try to make it seamless to show
Yeah.
you that like that they're almost there and making like very realistic humans.
Maybe I missed a part of it then, because that's not. It didn't look that realistic to me, but the part that I was.
Yeah, it's like the intro video where he's in the white room,
Yeah.
and it's Keanu Reeves talking, and then it'll like transition to like his animated version.
Okay. So it's more like a cutscene kind of thing then.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's just them trying to show like how far technology has come.
Okay. Because like
And
the
I thought-
playable part.
Yeah, the playable part was very cool too. All of it was cool.
Yeah. I remember with the playable part, like the part that I was impressed was was the like you could look through windows and you can see like detailed
Reflections.
reflections was one thing too.
Mhm.
And you could see details inside like the windows or like of the rooms that you could like look through, you know? Where I was like, I can remember like back in the day when I was playing like Spider-Man, I think it was like Spider-Man 2 on the Xbox or whatever, like
Mhm.
swinging around. Like if you land on a window, if you looked at it, it was kind of just like a picture that they kind of just like they kind of just like rendered onto the side of the building, making it look like you like could look in there.
Yeah.
But with the Unreal demo, it looked like you can actually see into it, almost like Cyberpunk how it does, like where they spend so much time on the detail inside the cars too. So if you think about it in Cyberpunk, it's kind of crazy how you could see cars on the outside. You can see a bunch of cars, and if you look inside the window, there's actually like they spent time designing the inside of the car too, which is a little crazy. Probably the reason why that game's so hard to run, or was so hard to run for the older consoles. But
Yeah, I can trigger Anthony right now and say that you can notice all the ray tracing.
Shut up.
is that
Oh my
a
God.
what kind of what reference am I missing something? Or-
Weren't
He
you part of
just
that
got tired of you
conversation?
talking
I
about
The
can't
ray
even know-
tracing?
there's
If
barely
it's-
noticeable.
if it's what
Barely
I'm thinking,
noticeable.
actually, what
George and his
actually
ray tracing.
when I told you I was playing Battlefield recently, right?
Mhm.
And does Battlefield 2024 uses ray tracing, right, in the newer consoles? Does it?
2042 does not
Yeah.
have ray tracing.
No.
2042 does not.
As far as I know, I don't. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I
Oh
can look it
man,
up,
so
but I'm
there's
pretty sure it
something
doesn't.
there's something that has to be explained to me though, because there was the one point where I was in a multiplayer match and I thought I was witnessing something from ray tracing, and I was looking up a building, and the sun was like behind me, and on the wall, on a big wall that I was looking at above, like in front of me, I saw the shadow of somebody, and I don't think the person that was casting that shadow was on my screen. I think it was like, you know, kind of just out of my vision to my right or something like that. And I know that's a product of ray tracing. I thought that was like proof that ray tracing was actually happening in 2042. But maybe I experienced something different. Because I know that's supposed to be a feature of ray tracing that you can get.
Is it just like first party stuff that is ray tracing?
No, just certain games, but I know something like Battlefield would be too hard to implement.
For multiplayer anyway, right?
At least on the
I don't know
console.
why ray tracing is such a big deal, honestly.
No, but
It's not like ray tracing isn't anything new. Like even when I was in animation class in the early 2000s, like we could render shit out.
Okay. Now we had this conversation already, didn't we? We're about to have this conversation again.
It's just
It's not new, but
it's the newest buzzword that people are using to advertise games. Like I don't think it ultimately makes a difference.
No, I think it makes differences that you don't know that you're seeing.
I think that's an oversimplification though, because it's not actually nothing. Maybe it depends. It could depend on who you're asking.
It's not nothing, but it's just like I said. It's one of those marketing buzzwords where it's like, oh, it's got ray tracing. And we're like, most people don't even know what ray tracing is. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, that's a cool thing that's in there that makes it look prettier. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying to the point where that when like a marketing team says ray tracing, a lot of people may not know what it is, but I don't agree that it means that it's like a trivial change. I think it's actually kind of a cool change because, like I said, like in the situation that I was telling you about, like what ray tracing could do in my situation, from what I understand, is that when there's somebody that's outside of my character's view, that means that they won't cast a shadow, right? Even if the shadow would be visible by my character. And I think what ray tracing does is it can make that happen. So like if someone's sneaking up behind me and the sun is behind me, I would be able to see their shadow before they get to me, depending on the circumstance, right?
Visual cues.
Yeah. Where I think that without ray tracing, the game says
it's I mean, you could say that for any of the new stuff that they're developing. It's adding immersion for sure, but I mean, it's like sprinkles on top of the sundae, if you will. Like,
also,
no, like I've always said this about ray tracing is I think it's cool, and they could try and sell it as like a fancy new feature or something, but I think ultimately that it's like you said, it's part of the immersion. That I think it's something that you'll notice without realizing that you notice it.
It could be very well one of those things that you have to see side by side. This is the gameplay with ray tracing, and this is the gameplay without ray tracing. I think most people will need that to be able to tell a difference.
But
that's not us right here.
No, personally, like when you see it side by side, you can notice a big difference. In my opinion.
What was the game that came out and I was like, I don't see really much of a difference.
It was,
you said
I forgot what
Control.
the game was.
It's Control.
It's usually a light.
I remember I sent him screenshots with like circles that said it's right here, it's right here, it's right here, it's right here, and I compared it to another picture.
It's in the lighting.
Also, and
it's been a while since I've worked with it, but from what I remember.
Another thing from what I understand about ray tracing too is that I think I could be misstating this, but I'm pretty sure that ray tracing is easier to develop with because you're letting the physics engine generate shadows, reflections, and things like that, which is it's more hands off from the developer's point of view too. The alternative to create reflections and things like that would be to kind of like bake in those textures into things that might receive reflections and stuff, which takes work. I mean, I think there's like automated ways to do it now, but I think ray tracing is actually more hands off as long as you can trust like hardware can handle the ray tracing. You know what I mean?
Usually it's a rendering setting. Like when we worked in Maya, you're setting up everything, the aspect ratio, how you want it to record the codec, and the quality, and frames per second, and then do you want to render this with ray tracing? And it did, like, this was 2006, 2007, and so yeah, you could like, especially then with amateur work, you can definitely tell a difference with something that has ray tracing and something that doesn't. Typically, the stuff without ray tracing was a lot darker, and ray tracing, I think, usually has more dynamic lighting, and that's just in an amateur's hands. Like, a professional can make it more use out of it, but I don't think it's something that we need to be pushing onto people. Like, this is a developer side thing that for devs to get excited about, not necessarily something we need to put on the box of the game.
I have to disagree with that. I mean, not like viciously disagree, but I do, as a consumer, I'm interested in ray tracing, not as much from the developer side. I actually do want ray tracing from a consumer side. I know it's unreasonable to ask for it from every game now, but in the future, I hope that ray tracing is just a normal thing, and I can expect to catch people sneaking up on me from behind because I can see their shadow, or I can see, like, realistic reflections.
I'll take it when I can get it.
Imagine,
but,
imagine having a screenshot of like a car explosion in the future Burnout Paradise or something like that, and then the screenshot is showing the explosion in the reflection, and you could see their explosion because the explosion's not like, it's not a baked in thing that, like, the developers predicted, but it's like a random thing that ray tracing caught. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's never gonna happen, George.
Yeah. I tried to win Max over with the Burnout Paradise reference.
Games. They're not making
calm down.
Burnout games anymore. It's true. EA kills their good studios.
Oh God, we don't need to go on this tangent.
Yeah, that's next episode. That's next
They
episode.
They killed the studio that made the original Dead Space.
I'm just gonna block all this out.
Okay, I think it sounds like we're gonna have to put this EA conversation on hold for the next episode. We've been talking.
I feel like that could be its own discussion.
I agree.
That's like a multi-part.
Yeah, are we taking notes? Okay, I'm taking notes. EA.
Tune into our 37-part is
EA
the
discussion.
Discussion.
Check.
I mean, honestly,
let me allot.
No, we don't need to have it quiet.
Yeah. Let me block out 3 hours for that one.
I'm just gonna say, I don't think EA's been kind of flying under the radar as of recent. Aside from the sports stuff, I think they've made decent game decisions. I know Battlefield was kind of its own snafu, but I don't think that was necessarily EA's fault. I think that was a developer thing.
Wars was a good one.
Hard to say. I mean, hopefully they get the hint and take the feedback from the consumers properly, right? Because I mean, there was a small streak where they were doing some good stuff too, right? Like when Squadrons came out, and they added like a patch to it that added some content to Squadrons, even though that game was said to not have any more additions to the game. I think people were kind of happy about that. So, I mean,
we lost Alvaro.
Not Alvaro's.
No.
Oh no, is that Lewis?
No, it's just
No,
Max.
Max.
Turned his camera off. That's all.
Oh,
But-
my eyes tweaked out.
So I think we can end the episode there. I mean, obviously we have a lot more to talk about. As always, we can just continue some other time. We'll call it. We'll call that a cliffhanger. We were talking about demos
Did
with
Justin
cliffhangers
have-
earlier. This is your cliffhanger for this
Does
episode
Justin have
of.
any more to say?
I think I caught up.
No, I'm fine.
He got like 2 words in the whole time.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, I saw him walk off, so I didn't even know he was there. I didn't see him come back. I just assumed he wasn't at his at his desk
I just
for a
went
lot
to
of
go
the
use the
podcast.
restroom real quick.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yeah.
You gotta use the toilet before the podcast.
Drank like 4 bottles of water, man.
No, I got called to the other room. Sorry.
Ain't
The
no thing.
roommate was calling.
Ain't no thing. Yeah. So, okay, next episode we can talk about EA if we want to jump into that sinkhole. But
No, I feel like if there's nothing to discuss that week, then we can have the EA discussion.
Yeah,
I don't
imagine-
think EA is not the big bad right now. They're not the worst developer or publisher that's doing shit right now, to be honest. So I don't. Right now, I'm kind of neutral with EA because they haven't done anything recently.
That's just a shocker right there.
Well, and I think this will be just the last word that I say today is, I think after Battlefront 2 and the whole snafu, they kind of learned that
the Star Wars game Battlefront you're talking about now?
Yeah, just
Okay.
everything that happened with that. I'm not gonna go into big deal, a lot of detail with that. They kind of figured out that they can really only pull their like heavy-handed microtransaction bullshit with the casuals and the EA sports games, and when they try and do that to the other stuff that's set to the core, that it does not go well. So that's why I think why
God damn it.
You've been seeing EA do other stuff better because they have to kind of like do casual stuff, and that's where they're going to make all their money, and then the smaller stuff for the hardcore that they don't have to monetize as heavily because it's not going to work.
George looks pained right now.
Another week and another episode where something gets dropped right at the end of the podcast that I really want to destroy, but
Just go for it.
But I can't.
What's another
Facts and logic.
10 minutes?
That's what we say for next week's episode.
I just had a lot of fun
No,
with
because
Battlefront 2.
Because we probably won't get to it next week.
But I'm not gonna. Well, I mean, it ended up good, but it didn't start that way. There was a lot of controversy.
Yeah, that's true. I can't argue with that because I didn't play during that time, but I played much later, and it was actually an extremely fun game. That's why I'm like, what the heck? That was a great game. But
no, well, yeah,
it depends when you started.
People were disappointed because by the time it got good, then they kind of just ended abruptly. Once, like, finally, when it was starting to hit its stride, EA is like, now we're done. But,
well,
yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is
Alvaro, Justin, do you guys have anything to say? I feel like you haven't said anything in a while.
Oh, it's fine. They already asked. It's fine.
Nah, I'm good.
How's Gran Turismo?
It's hard. It's hard. My hands are
There
like
you go.
in pain, but
gonna get carpal tunnel syndrome.
I'm trying to get gold in all the life tests, so it's fun times.
Do you think it's worth getting like a wheel for it? I've considered actually getting a steering wheel for driving games recently.
I mean, you got to be super invested in it, like for sure. But like, if you really want to go hardcore, like,
I'm surprised you don't have a wheel for it.
I don't have the room. If I had the room,
you know,
I would definitely consider it.
You know what my problem is that like driving games look so good now, and it kind of, to me, it almost breaks the immersion when I'm playing driving games, and like when you're trying to steer with the joystick. And you have to, and like it's hard to control like slight movements, you know. So like you end up like just jittering the stick, and it looks like your car's just like wobbling like this, and it kind of breaks the immersion for me. So I'm like, I want a steering wheel that can like smoothly like go into the corners.
You gotta create your own immersion, just like when you're a kid and you played Mario Kart, and every time you turned, you leaned.
Yeah.
You gotta do that.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about.
Like this, where you're turning.
One of my nieces used to have the controller and do this whole thing.
Yeah.
Do they make the sounds too, like neum?
Yeah, no, she would just be like this, and then she'd
That doesn't
go
help anything.
exactly like that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that my leaning doesn't do anything. I know it doesn't do anything, but it makes me feel
I'm gonna cut most of this episode, by the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another episode of Last Time Online.
GG.
I feel like this was our most unhinged episode.
This one was totally off the
This
rails.
is quality content.
I hope you all enjoyed. Join us next time online when we see if we can get 10 layers deep into the Nerd Report Inception. Okay. Bye.
Bye.